Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum students. Today's is the third lecture about the chemical industries, and in this lecture we will learn about the manufacture of the urea. Urea is a nitrogenous fertilizer. It means nitrogen is the main component of this fertilizer, and it consists 46.6% nitrogen in it. White crystalline compound means have the crystalline quality, exist in the crystal shape and white color, highly soluble in water, and used for the manufacturing of important chemicals, but the major use is it is used as the fertilizer. And the raw material for the manufacture of urea are ammonia, and second is the carbon dioxide. Here are the steps for the formation of the urea is given. First one is the reaction of the ammonia and carbon dioxide. Carbon dioxide is passed through the liquid ammonia under the high pressure, and then reaction between carbon dioxide and ammonia will take place and ammonium carbamate will be formed. This ammonia and carbon dioxide are heated together under high pressure. It change into the ammonium carbamate. And in the second step, this ammonium carbamate is evaporated with the help of steam. So it will this ammonium carbamate it will dehydrate to form the urea. Water molecules will remove or they will be released from this ammonium carbamate, and then this ammonium carbamate will change into the urea. And in the last step, granulation of urea is taking place. Urea is changed into the granules. Small grains are formed of this urea, and what happened, liquid urea is evaporated to form the granules. Water molecules are removed from this. If any other remaining water molecules are there, then they are further evaporated, and then this urea change in the form of grains. And when liquid urea is sprayed from top of a tower under high pressure, and hot current of air is introduced from the bottom. So how this evaporation is taken place at the from the top of the tower under high pressure, urea is sprayed, and from the lower side, bottom of the tower, hot air is introduced, and in this way this urea evaporate and change into the form of granules, and then it is stored and marketed. Here flow sheet diagram of the urea is given in the first step. As I have told you, in the formation of this ammonium carbamate, what happened, liquid ammonia and carbon dioxide, they are mixed together, and when they are mixed together they change into the ammonium carbamate, and then it is evaporated with the help of this steam. And after the evaporation, this if there is any unreacted ammonia or carbon dioxide is present, then it is again recycled here. And in the next step, after the evaporation, this urea is changed into the granules, and when it is changed into the granules, then it is further evaporated and then marketed. Now, what is the importance of the urea? As I have told you, urea is one of the widely used fertilizer. About 90% of the urea is used as the fertilizer. So urea is widely used in all over the world, especially in the agriculture sector, and 90% of urea is used as the fertilizer, and this urea fertilizer has the highest percentage of nitrogen in it, and almost 46% nitrogen is present. It has the highest percentage of nitrogen in the urea. And secondly, it does not affect the texture of the soil, and in the soil it hydrolyzes quickly to ammonium carbamate. It means this urea it react with the water and change into the ammonium carbamate, and this ammonium carbamate further changes into the ammonia, and this ammonia decompose into the nitrogen and hydrogen. So this urea can easily decompose into its simplest constituents, in simplest constituents, that is the nitrogen and hydrogen. Nitrogen is the main constituent of the protein and required by the stem and leaves of the plant, especially in the early stages of the plant development. So in this way, this urea is also a best source for the production of the nitrogen there, and it also imparts the green color to the leaves and increase the yield and further quality of the crop. Today's second topic is the petroleum. Petroleum was found by the decomposition of the dead plant and animals buried under the earth crust millions of years ago. And it is believed that millions of years ago, these living plant and animals in the seas, they died, and then their bodies sank and buried under the mud and sand. So then decomposition of these buried bodies taken place, and decomposition process took place in the absence of air, under high pressure and temperature, and in the presence of the bacteria. So this process took millions of years for the completion, and then these remains of the dead plants and animals converted into the dark brown viscous liquid that is called the crude oil, and it was trapped between the layers of the impervious rocks. Here you can see that where the oil reserves are present, beneath the oil there is the water is present, and upside of the oil there is a layer of the gas, and this oil is present in the impervious rocks. So being lighter and insoluble in water, it floats over the water and forms an oil trap, and gaseous products, they accumulate over the petroleum, and they are considered as the natural gas. Here you can see that oil is present upside of this water, as being the lighter than water, it floats over this water, and at the upper layer of the oil there is gas is present. And how this petroleum is extracted? This petroleum is extracted by drilling the holes or finding the oil wells into the earth crust where the oil is found. So when a well is drilled through the rocks, natural gas comes first, as you have seen that gas is present as a upper layer of this oil. So this gas will comes first with a great pressure, and after some time, what happened, due to this gas pressure, oil will also come out by itself. And after the extraction of oil, next step is the refining of the petroleum. Crude oil is refined in the refineries, and refining is a process in which separation of different fractions is taken place. So refining process is a separation of crude oil mixtures into various useful products that are called the fractions, and this process is carried out in the refineries, and this process is called the fractional distillation. And what is the principle of this fractional distillation? It is based on the separation of substances depending on their boiling points. According to the boiling point, these fractions are separated. The substances having the low boiling point means they are boiled at less temperature. They will boil out first, and they will leave the other fractions that will have the greater boiling point. And in this way, all the fractions are separated according to their boiling points. And this process remain continue until a residue is left behind, and vapors of each fractions, they are collected and then condenses, and fractional distillation of petroleum is carried out in a fractionating tower. So what happened in this fractionating tower? The crude oil is heated in the furnace up to the temperature of 400 from 4 to 600 degrees centigrade. This oil is heated, and then vapors of these are passed through the fractionating column. And what happened in this column? Hot vapors rise up in the column and cool down and condenses, and such that vapors of the higher boiling point they condense first, and the vapors of lower boiling point they will uh, condense after that. So we can say that vapors of the medium and lower boiling point fractions rise in the tower, and then they condense gradually with respect to their boiling points at different levels, and in this way crude oil is separated into different fractions. Here you can see it is a fractionating tower, and here you can see the columns. And what happened, this crude oil is heated from 400 to the 600 degree centigrade temperature, and the fractions that have the higher boiling point, higher fractions, they will have the high boiling point, they will evaporate first, they will boil first, and then they will condense back. And at the upside, temperature is decreasing, and fractions that have the low boiling temperature and the fractions that have very less boiling temperature, they will move upside, and gradually they will be condenses. And these different fractions, their carbon numbers are given, temperature are given, their names are given, and how they are used in our daily life, that is given here. You can see, you can read it clearly. And in the last, that the residue that is left behind, the residue that is left behind, it is called the bitumen, and it is used in the roads and roofs of the for the purpose of the roofing.